Happy Friday. Today on the Lucky Trader Lounge, we have Jason from the Bitlectro team. He'll be talking about the Dreamers VX launch that's coming up this weekend. So let's go. Welcome. We have Jason here with me and Tyler. We're chatting about Bitlectro. So I guess to start off, Jason, tell us a little about what you do for Bitlectro and what the team is.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. As you can see with the full mustache going on right now, we're in drop week. We're deep. We're ready to go. I'm in a hotel lobby right now. Things are just crazy. And so yeah, let me introduce myself. My name is Jason Berners. I'm the head of outreach here at Bitlectro Labs. So basically, my job is to find other teams, other partners like yourselves to kind of help spread the word and do some cool things about everything Bitlectro. So whether that be about our first collection, which is the Dream Loops, our second collection, the Dreamers, or going into this collection 2.5 or sorts called the Dreamers VX. So it's kind of a busy job of many hats, as I might say.
Yeah, and I remember you guys originally from the Dream Loops drop, and I have a couple of those Dream Loops. I like the songs that are attached to them. I've always thought it would be like a cool intro. It's a little retro kind of style to it. So Tyler, what's your background with Bitlectro? I know you had talked with them earlier today on your own stream, but had you gotten into them way back on the Dream Loops time?
Yeah, so I interviewed Jason probably 6 months ago now. Jason ahead of the Dreamers drop. So I met him.
That would have been a while.
It's crazy to think it's 6 months. I was going back to the OpenSea activity today, and it was like October 10th or so, 2021 that came out.
That's crazy.
So I met Jason through doing the Bilectro going around some different shows. Love the interview. So I've been following these guys ever since. Had some of their kind of co-founders were tied to the Society of the Hourglass project. Talked to them a little bit a few months back. That's another really interesting one. And then, just an hour ago, I finished a great conversation with Gabe, one of the co-founders of Bilectro, who an incredible guy, PhD in cognitive psychology and behavioral economics. Also DJ and trader on the side. So it was a really fun one. But this is one of my favorite teams in the NFT space. So any chance to talk to these guys, I'm game to jump on.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
So I guess my first question is sort of along the lines of how do all these collections interact with each other? How are they connected?
Yeah, this has been something that we've been kind of building over the past, 6 months, kind of as we've, last time basically Tyler and I talked, we've been kind of talking about that, not only gamifying it, but also just finding the right link between all the collections. Because what started as, essentially just like a fun project that we had this idea for, which is Dream Loops back in June, has turned into kind of this ecosystem now of audiovisual NFTs that's becoming larger than all of us individually. So we really had to figure out a way to kind of connect all the dots, and I think we're doing that really well in our kind of Q3, Q4 release, which is going to be a DeFi platform called the Dreamlands Battle Arena. So with that, it's going to be an automated, peer-to-peer fighting game essentially. And I put game kind of in quotations. It's on the rails. It kind of simulates Zed Run of sorts. But with that, we're really excited because it's going to use the Dreamers collection as the avatars, but also Dream Loops and such as, power-ups and pluses for your XP and things like that. So we're going to gamify both the collections, but beyond that, I think what's really exciting is, both of them have that thread of being audio-visual where you get the Creative Commons licensing and all that kind of stuff. So we want to also bring that more into our further collections, which is going to be potentially a hand-drawn collection with a different kind of music genre, everything alike. We kind of want to create an umbrella of like an audio-visual music curation platform of sorts. And I think we're starting to do it pretty well, which is really exciting.
Yeah, and the Dream Loops were all generative, right? The songs itself and the artwork, and then there was like a physical attached to it as well. So is the Dreamers VX going to be similar where there's a music and animation to it?
Yeah, so what's really exciting about this is it's essentially a one-to-one comparison or companion, a one-to-one representation is the right word, of the Dreamers collection. So whether you have, a skeleton in 2D in your Dreamers VX, you're going to receive, via claim, you can pick up a 3D version of that avatar with the same music on the background. It has some animations and some kind of cool little, you know, uh, bits to it, I guess I could say. But with that, it's, we're treating this as like a roadmap item where it's not really a drop, but we're promoting it as if it was a drop. So it kind of creates that nice sense where there's nothing new coming out when it comes to traits or anything like that, but it's just taking everything that was 2D and redoing it on the art side. So, 800 traits now redone in voxelized form and bringing that into something that is free to claim for all of our holders. So.
Yeah, and it's through Sandbox, and I guess tell us a little about why you chose Sandbox, how it's been
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah, so we're not even like, fully in bed with one metaverse. Gabe likes to use this term of we're metaverse agnostic. Like we're kind of willing to go wherever people want to hang out, which we think is really cool. So right now, even tonight, today, which is Friday, April 8th, we have a metaverse party happening in Crypto Voxels, which is a metaverse we love to use, right? But when it comes to the Sandbox and where we want to bring our avatar collection, we linked with their team back in July last year through their partnership program and got a really nice 3x3 estate, which in the end of it is about 99 times the size of our Crypto Voxels parcel. It's just massive. So we knew that if we were going to do a voxelized avatar collection, the Sandbox creator is really, really good at being able to import what we create into the world, and we just want to create something unique for a metaverse that we're really excited with the partnership program, basically, right? So whether it be down the line we want to switch to crypto voxels or Decentraland and also bring our avatars into that, we'd love to do that. And like Sandbox, if you're listening right now, look right to the camera, like get back to our emails because we've been trying to link up, right? But yeah, I mean, in the end of it, we love what CyberCons did as well with their VX collection, which will go to Sandbox. We love the doggies, the Snoop Dogg collection. So it's pretty cool to be up in that tier as well with this VX.
And Lou, one thing that struck me in conversation with Gabe earlier today is the amount of work that goes into creating these 3D avatars. So as a market participant, as a 2D avatar owner, sometimes you hear like, oh, okay, now I'm getting the 3D avatar. Great. Like I remember when Meebits came out with some of their 3D voxel files and whatnot. But there's a ton that goes into this, right? You essentially have to build out all of the avatars, and then you also have to essentially write the scripts to get them into the Sandbox world. So that kind of blew me away. I was curious how that kind of went for your team.
Well, and that's why I have a full mustache right now and I'm sitting in a hotel lobby, right? Is the past, months essentially have been this whirlwind where Keel, who does all of our art design, he's the co-founder of Bitlectro Labs as well. He's just a madman. Like he'll spend 10 to 12 hours a day, recreating these traits, and then he has all the magic sauce to kind of run the scripts and make it look generative. Or make it not look generative, but make it generative. What's cool about it though is the fact that with it being a one-to-one comparison, is you can see your favorite traits in 2D now coming over into 3D. Like I like the army helmet with a playing card attached. I think seeing that, ported into VX is so neat. And I don't even know the process he goes through to do that, because I think for me, my mind goes to like Minecraft and adding blocks and things like that. But I know there's so much more that goes into it. Yeah. When it comes to our side, though, it's really neat because every single time, even with the 2D collection, when we were requesting traits from Keel, we'd be like, we want to see a sword, we want to see, this sci-fi character, an homage to this, genre of music or whatever it be. Keel would do those requests. And when it comes to VX, you're being like, hey, can you show us the preview of this certain dreamer that we have that we're really excited to see? And he would go on his computer and make up that dreamer right away. And it's just been a really cool process. So I'm stoked to see the different, types of bodies and tails and armors and suits and everything like that. I think it's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah. So Let me just bring up what you have here, Tyler. So, uh, coming out tomorrow, and I guess first question for our viewers, listeners: do you have to have one of the dreamers? Do you have to have one of the dream loops? How can they get involved? Do they already have to have one of the other NFTs?
Yeah, so what's cool about this is there's no sale involved. It's essentially just a free claim for all of Dreamer's holders. So you can go on OpenSea right now, pick up a Dreamer, a 2D version of this, and then tomorrow when the portal opens, you can essentially go claim the Dreamer. And you can do that whenever. You just need to see if that if that 3D Dreamer has already been claimed. So even when the portal is open, you can snoop down the line in a week or so and try to find dreamers that haven't been claimed yet in OpenSea and go pick up some extra ones. So, as a collector, I miss screenshot windows all the time. I miss claim windows left and right. And I always get choked about it because they're only 12 hours, 24 hours. So when it comes to what we wanted to do, we want to basically, have it no claim window, nothing like that. It's just up to the user. They can time their own gas fees. They can do whatever they want, which I think is really nice. I mean, even with some of mine, I'm not even going to right away turn them into 3D avatars. I'm just going to kind of let it sit and let it do its thing. And I'll decide later on, when a special occasion comes or something, and I want to make it 3D, I'll do that. But no window. All you need to do is just make sure you have some dreamers. If you want to secure it for tomorrow, go pick them up today because the window is going to open up tomorrow. And if not, feel free. You can even shop afterwards and try to find some dreamers that haven't been claimed yet from the original collection and turn them 3D, which we think is pretty neat.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things I think to note is that each of the dreamers will have their own claim, and as of right now, they're all open. But in a week from now, there could be 20, 30, 50, however many percent are gone, and then you go to pick one up, and more likely the one on the floor has already been claimed. So, are you guys going to have any sort of checker? Is that on the person itself?
Yeah, so this has been something that we've been talking about as well. Yeah, I'm trying right now to figure out a way that we can kind of verify it better versus just checking the second OpenSea collection. That's something that's going to happen over the next coming days as well. But yeah, we want to make sure that the user knows if they're getting one that's been claimed or not. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, now Tyler has up here going through the Medium article on it itself, how you can use the Dreamer, and a little video preview here of one of these the robots riding through with the sword. So what's the best way for people to get involved? Should they join within your Discord, follow on Twitter for updates?
I think joining the Discord is the number one thing, right? We have a really nice kind of community and group of people in there that are just really fun. They're just a bunch of tastemakers from different genres, whether it be music, me being a magician, or physical art or painting or digital art, whatever it be. There's so many different creatives in that space that I think, even if you don't have one of our collections, it's a really fun place to just hang out and chat with people. But beyond that, to learn how to get involved and to read those FAQs and to chat with the team, hop in the Discord, come say hello, and feel free to ask any questions if you're wondering as well. And we kind of just want to help the users walk through the whole experience of claiming it. There's so many people in our space for finding that dream loops or dreamers were their first NFT, which is really cool. So that also means this might be their first free claim as well. So they, we want to make sure that they aren't spending too much on gas, and they're timing it correctly and things like that. So we've optimized the contract really well as well. So we think that the gas fees are going to be nice and low, which is going to be great. And just kind of join the conversation, and we're all in there, and we're super active, which is great. So we can kind of just continue the conversation and party tonight, which is great as well. So it's the way I'll describe it too is it's like the first place I say good morning and the last place I say good night, which my girlfriend hates, but it's totally okay, and that's what I mean. So it's a fun place to be.
Are you guys doing like a Twitter Spaces tonight? Is that what you were saying with the partying?
No, so this is what's really fun. So okay, Lou, I'm gonna drop some alpha right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop some alpha alert. Relax, it's gonna be good. So once a month, since June, we've done this now almost a dozen times basically. We throw these monthly metaverse parties in crypto voxels. So we have this huge 3-story estate basically in crypto voxels, where the top floor is essentially a party room where we have an embedded Twitch stream with live DJs that come through our parcel once a month. So it's a 4-hour show with giveaways, POAPs, collaborations, guests, the whole 9 yards. It's a big shebang, basically, right? So everyone comes, they dance, they hang out. Gabe hosts it as well as DJs, which is really. We always have a guest project that's like featured for each month, and this month is really cool because Force is doing a special reward giveaway for everyone who attends today, which we think is really cool. So if you come to the party tonight, you go fill out your information on the pre-mint link at the back, and you're going to receive something from Force as well. So we use these parties as not only a fun community kind of give back moment and things like that, but it's also a really great place to communicate. We can kind of almost treat it like a Twitter space where we can announce new drops and new collaborations and things like that, and have a really nice stage for it, and kind of just build it up from there. And the attendance has been smashing, to be honest. Like, we're shocked. We have a couple thousand people come through each time we do it, and they stay the whole 4 hours, which I think is amazing. Because 4 hours is a long time to ask from everyone. I don't know why I'm doing so many hand gestures, but I'll do it again. And I think that I get juice for them, frankly. And I gotta admit, like, I liked them at first, but I was like, man, 4 hours is a long time. Now I make sure I got good internet. I make sure my whole setup's there. I got headphones in. I'm locked in. Yeah. So it's a good time.
I love the concept, metaverse party. Not that many project teams are doing that. So I think it's really fun. Lou, I'm curious, have you attended a metaverse party yet?
Just in general? Or
yeah, like in crypto voxels or Sandbox. Like, have you actually been to attend a metaverse party?
I went to this thing in Decentraland once that was like, it was a casino night, and they gave you X amount of chips, and whoever ended up with the most chips at the end. And I went to like the roulette table, and I lost it pretty quickly, but that's the only one that I've done. I watched Wonder Quest did a thing where Alice in Wonderland did like a concert, and I watched the stream of it. I didn't like go with the character in during it. I watched the stream after, kind of thing, to see what it was like. But that's about the extent I've done in there.
Okay.
I haven't been to a Bilectro, but I've been to a couple metaverse parties, and they're surprisingly fun. And like the music's going, it's good. I had some, second thoughts, trepidations before I attended my first one, but I think just put that aside and just go. This is to all the listeners and viewers, not just to Lou, if you haven't been, because they really are a fun time.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Like, it's like the nichest of niche things, right? Like, we're already in this niche, strange space of Web3, which I think is like fascinating to begin with. Like, even when we meet, friends and collaborators in real life, I kind of take a moment, I go, like, we realize what's going on here. Like, this has been the craziest year of my life, frankly. And now that we take it a step further and everyone congregates for 4 hours and dances virtually, and everyone does the whoa on a stickman avatar, I think is so strange, but for some reason really approachable as well. Like, this is what I use to onboard people who are interested into Web3. Like, we have like Breakwater Records, which is like a hip-hop collective here in BC. They're dissolving as a group, but they're doing their last performance tonight in our venue, and they're bringing a bunch of people who are like their friends are like Solana NFT collectors who've never really been on mainnet before. So it's kind of their introduction into the mainnet space. And I think that is a really fascinating, tool as well. Is just there's, it can be like, it's a game owned by the users. Everyone here is their own person. Everyone's tied to a wallet. I think the kind of conversation that goes with it makes a lot of sense to people, even though it's such a strange thing, dancing for 4 hours, so
yeah,
it's
almost easier to do it like virtually.
Yeah, right. It's like, maybe through the pandemic we were all so used to Zoom stuff that, and then to be like I have some friends, this isn't Web3 related, but my friend who works for an accounting firm, when COVID first happened, he sent everyone in his company had Nintendo Switch, and he had everyone meet in Animal Crossing, like at an island, just to like start the morning meetings. And I think that that is so fascinating. So with that, this is just the Web3 version of that. And we're just at the beginning, frankly, because we played the alpha, the sandbox, and we know how crazy that looks. So it's just going to keep getting better. You know, the office meetings on a Tuesday morning are going to keep looking more cool, I think.
Yeah.
I am curious, Jason, so you mentioned that you're metaverse agnostic, and I can certainly appreciate that. What are your thoughts on the pending Yuga Land drop coming this month? And do you think you'll be throwing parties in Yugaverse in Q2?
Okay, one thing I'm going to admit, is it bad that I missed KYC? Is it bad that I missed the window? I missed it.
TBD.
I'm sorry. I know, and I wasn't even like, you know, up in arms about being KYC'd or anything like that. Like I'm so doxxed, it's crazy. But beyond that, yeah, man, absolutely. Like here's the thing. When it comes to what Yuga Labs is doing, or Decentraland, or anything like that, each one of these metaverses, I think you can create a really unique experience for each one. And I'll give you an example. So Decentraland, the way that they do their server slugs makes it so if we all go to an event and there's 1,000 people in the in this venue, we're going to get split up over a bunch of different URLs. So maybe me and you aren't going to be on the same server, so we couldn't see each other. So that can become a problem if you want to create the vibe of like a nightclub, right? But it creates a really smooth experience because you're taking all that traffic and dividing it up. So when it comes to Decentraland, I'm trying to create a different experience that maybe isn't a metaverse party, but think of a streetwear pop-up, right? Where people can kind of just come and go as they please, and it doesn't need to have that feeling of mass volume of people. It doesn't have to feel like a concert, but it can still be a really interesting event. So when it comes to what Yuga Labs is doing, I'm just excited to see what it looks like. Is it going to be the thing where we can have the feeling of mass volume? Because if we're doing that, you're damn right we're going to bring a party there. But if it's going to be something almost closer to a gallery view where that's multiplayer, well, then that means we can create some really cool experiences of maybe doing live streams of decorating our gallery like we've done with Uncyber, or having different pop-up experiences go through that as well. I think each metaverse is going to have, we want to dip our toes into everyone, and I want each kind of to have a different experience to go with it. And I think that's the best way to go about it,
Mm-hmm. And say you have 5 dreamers, would you be able to enter them into the same party at the same time, or is that like you would need 5 different devices to do that? How does that side of it work? Because I'm not sure.
Okay, so that's what we've been working on. That's almost what we're also waiting for with the Sandbox. So the Dreamers VX is going to be portable into the Sandbox, which is, as we know, only an alpha right now. I think the Alpha 2 just finished. So when it comes to the current metaverse parties that we do with Crypto Voxels, you actually can't bring the Dreamers VX into it just yet. But when it comes to Sandbox, all I do know, think of something like Decentraland. If you want to change your hoodie, you can do it really, really easily. You just open up the sidebar and you can switch the clothing. And we're hoping that with the Sandbox, it'll be a similar experience where, let's say I'm a skeleton and I want to switch to an Azulian. I can just hit my tab and switch it over, right? And I hope that you can come on from multiple devices and be multiple people and things like that. But the way that Sandbox is built as well, I'd consider it a lot closer to a typical MMO kind of game where you're it's full on basically a video game more than a gallery walker view or something. It's really gamified. So I think with and I don't know even if I like that word gamified, but I treat it's similar to what we're used to playing with, like WoW and Fortnite and all that kind of stuff. It has that AAA kind of feel to it. So I think people are really going to lean into using one character for that whole session that they use, and then the next day maybe they'll switch it up and go to like their skeleton today. I'm going to use that, and so on and so on. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's sort of just an interesting concept, because with NFTs, a lot of people buy in bulk. One thing that we have in here is it in the comments talking about music NFT alpha, and so thought I have on that is, are you guys looking into partnerships with any artists, or I know that there's a handful now that are like NFT DJs that are out there. I think there is what was the drop yesterday? There was one yesterday that Tropics. I'm not sure if you've heard that name before. He was like DJing their
Yeah.
launch. Um, so are you guys partnering with any artists in the space
Yeah.
for the
So
music
okay,
side?
that's why I'm actually here in Vancouver right
Oh,
now. So we when we were in LA as well, like I can't say too much. There's too many NDAs on it and things like that. But we're in chats with
yeah,
a bunch of record labels right now to kind of bring their artists into the metaverse, and we think that that's really cool. Beyond helping build their own artist lore and world in the metaverse in their own parcel, we think that a great first step of kind of bringing those artists into Web3 is doing a set at our own party, right? So
yeah,
even right now, you look at this month, you have a bunch of guest DJs coming through it, like Kakuberry from Oniforce. I'd consider him a metaverse and non-metaverse DJ. Pixelord is become beyond just being a great rave DJ from I think Russia. Now he's really tapped into the Web3 space as well. So I think Tropics is a great example as well. You look at what people are doing with Sound XYZ, and we're friends with the guys over at the Heart Project where they're doing a fun community showcase. So I think it's neat because we can really dial into that exactly what you just said, the metaverse DJs, and then expand that even more and kind of get that A-level people you'd go see in like an arena and have conversations with them about bringing them into Web3. So I think that excites me so much, and why I'm spending an extra couple nights here in Vancouver and trying to close some deals. So
yeah. I think that's one thing that's like doing it through the metaverse in this way where it's technically coming through a computer or whatever device you're on. You can control the volume. You can control like you can pause it probably at certain times, just mute it if you need to, watch it back. A little different than if you're at an event and you want to be closer, but then it's too loud and that sort of thing. So you can basically adjust to your own viewership, which is the cool side of it.
right, and look at something like what Fortnite was doing with Ariana Grande and Travis Scott and all that. Like that Ariana Grande concert, my friend group treated that as an event. Like we all got together and had like ice cream
Mhm.
cake at an apartment and watched the show. And I think like that is a really interesting thing because that's the same way that we all go out and eat out together before going to a concert. So you look at 24K Golden just doing a show in Roblox, you go, okay, this is a platform that looks interesting, and now we're doing something different with it, like a 45-minute interactive show. Now you can make that decentralized and bring it into something much bigger where exactly what you're saying, we have full control of what we want to do, and just the time and space and room, frankly, just how big our sandbox parcel is to do that. And I don't know, we use this term like the world's our oyster, or is that right? The world is an
Yeah.
oyster, I am an oyster, whatever it is, like the
Mhm.
world is our oyster, and we have basically room and space to build whatever
Yeah.
world we want to do. And I think that's pretty neat.
What's so funny is like you talking about that just has visions in my head of when the tech and displays are better in 2 years, in five
Yeah.
years, and then having like worldwide parties, but with localized watching parties,
Yeah.
uh,
Right.
like on site. So now you're combining IRL with the metaverse. I mean, the opportunities are
Right. And like
pretty limitless.
we just did our friends over at Wicked Craniums, they were doing a pop-up on Melrose during
Yep.
NFTLA, and we were their metaverse portal for that event. So basically, if you were in real life, you could take a peek into crypto voxels and see people watching the DJ that was playing in real life, and vice versa. So it had that kind of cross moment, right, of being like, okay, let's see how many people are in the metaverse, and let me see what's going on, hi, and see the crossover, flip flop. And I think that is the first step into what we're going to see. I would love to be at a concert where like in real life, where the user can have interactions and suggestions and voting in real life at the show. Look at what Warp Sound's doing with their parties at their event in LA as well. You can control the music on your phone, which I think is so crazy.
Yeah.
So We always use this term like we're early, and sometimes I believe it and sometimes I don't. And then when I think about where we are with music, NFTs, and the whole kind of metaverse space, we are early, because before it all was like Fortnite and GTA Online, which I spent 8 hours a day on when I was in high school. So I think we are early still.
Yeah, clearly my daughter is interested in music NFTs. Unfortunately, she just got pulled home sick from school. I'm gonna have to drop off. I'll let you guys continue. But Jason, as always, it was great to chat, and I'll have to listen back to the second half of this interview. But good luck with the drop. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah. So
Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it.
kind of going off that point, I think there's a massive market for it. We had the guys from Wicked Craniums on a few weeks ago. They're going down this road of music NFTs as well. And I think there's so many people, because music and these artists go on world tours, but it's expensive to go to all these things. And one that I always sort of go back to is Fish has this like huge following, and people travel with them, but also like a lot of them are on the older side, have families, have kids
Right.
that they don't want to leave for a week or weekend or whatever to go travel. They always do like a big thing for New Year's, or they have like a Vegas thing. And I have
Right.
some friends that will watch their live streams of their shows, and it's no different from that. It's Saturday night or whatever. You have, 5 or 6 friends. They come over. You guys bring some beers and you watch the stream together. And that's sort of
Right.
what we're already at.
Well, remember like years ago, like maybe like 10 years ago, when there was like shops that you could buy DVD movies at, right? Like you think of something like in Canada, it was like HMV was the show, or the shop. They would sell like not only live concerts, but there was like full on live music festivals where it was like an 8-disc set of every music festival. And I remember when I was a kid, I would not only collect my favorite artists live, tour DVDs, but beyond that, I would actually watch them and bring the family around. We'd watch, Green Day do a set. Like they had that Boulevard of Broken Dreams record that was
Mm-hmm.
like a live CD and the DVD. We'd all gather around the TV and watch that. And I think that now being able to be on your laptop and also interact with that is just the next step into it, right? So the market was there when it comes to DVDs, and now it's just reopening up that, tech and everything like that has advanced so much where we're even having a conversation, online through a streaming
Yeah.
site. It's like we're in that next step now. Right?
Yeah. And just the cost to run all those events are so high. Like think of something like a Coachella, right? Like it costs them probably millions of dollars to run that event, but
Right.
you just hit up 10 different artists and on a Saturday run them each an hour back to back from their own home. And it just costs way less on that
Yeah.
end. I guess they probably are getting less from probably the ticket sales and the drinks and food and all that sort of thing. But I mean, the entry cost is getting the NFT in this way, so
Right.
it's pretty cool. In from the Dreamers VX, are you guys planning? Is it mostly going to be music focused, or do you plan on other sort of events? Say like you'd mentioned like gaming earlier. Are there going to be like gaming events in the metaverse where maybe for prizes or just competitions and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it just kind of shows each member of the team is into different things, right? Just like naturally, I'm really into streetwear, I'm really into kind of skate culture and things like that. So I get excited about in the metaverse doing, more clothing drops. I'm looking forward to doing a Decentraland wearable. I look forward to another merch portal and things like that. And if we can tie that into a metaverse experience, I think it's really cool. Other guys on the team are really into video games and retro nostalgia video games and things like that, where our DeFi platform really, shines, because that is essentially we're building like I think it's called Shining Force. It's based off of, which is a Japanese retro video game. So we're building it in the style of that. So to have that port into a metaverse component, yeah, man, I would love to have a fighting arena of sorts where dreamers can run around and kind of battle, and we can have that kind of moment as well. So it can kind of split between being just a music project and now a nostalgia retro project and also a brand and culture project. I think we can kind of dip our toes into all of that. And I think if we do that, we're not just cornering ourselves of being that one thing, because we're not. I think it's neat when, even at LA, when we threw an event out there, people coming up to us, wearing the Bitlectro hoodie, wearing the hat, things like that. I'm like, man, we are really starting to create a brand identity, and that's crazy to think. So I want to lean into that more for sure, and make sure that we're not just a music project. We're also so many more things.
Yeah, and I think music is somewhat untapped in the NFT market right now, so like it's definitely a good one to get involved in. You had mentioned DeFi. Can we get a little into the DeFi? Or is there going to be a token attached, or how's the DeFi connected?
So, okay, no promises yet. We have a dream of doing a token for sure. As I mentioned, Dream. Maybe it'll be called Dream Token. Who knows? We've also been talking with some other teams about integrating some tokens that are already out, which is interesting. So I don't want to promise anything just yet. It's also, Q3, Q4, so we have a little bit more time to kind of play around and see what everything kind of looks like and how the shape, the space can change so much in the next month or two. So we don't want to promise anything just yet, but there is going to be a DeFi component. There is going to be, a betting mechanism of sorts with a random yet provably fair outcome. So basically, it would mean, Lou, if you have a dreamer, I would have a dreamer. We would both bet some token, and then we would go at a random, generated fight sequence of sorts, and then my dreamer might beat your dreamer might stab and beat my dreamer, and then the winner would receive those tokens. So with that, we can kind of have some fun with the DeFi mechanics on it as well. So yeah, the deeper we go, I think a token might be on the horizon, but beyond that, we also are really lucky that Gabe's been in the space for so long, and he's been here through, token drops himself. He had a platform with cannabis peer-to-peer sales in Nevada back in like 2017, and he's kind of a vet when it comes to this. So no promises, but maybe and I'll wink. Maybe and I'll wink with one of my eyes. I'll say that.
Yeah, and like you can somewhat leverage it still with Sand. They have their own token on Sandbox, which there's probably ways that you can run events through them and in the Sandbox itself. So do you guys already have a plot? Do you have multiple plots? How's that side of it?
Well, what's neat about this is it's actually going to be like basically two separate things. So the DeFi platform, we're building our own application. Basically, it's going to be our own game. So it's going to have, maybe its own marketplace, which is really interesting as well. So when it comes to the VX part and what we're doing with the Sandbox, I think it's going to be neat because we can create like what we were just talking about, different experiences within the Sandbox that might lean into already using, some kind of betting mechanic with Sand. Like we have the option to do that. But when it comes to our own DeFi platform that's coming out in Q3, that's through our own website, right? So we're building our own game. It's not even going to happen through the Sandbox. So yeah, maybe a little bit of both. Maybe we'll dip into Sand over in the Sandbox and do some stuff with VX and have some kind of tokenization with that. Don't know. I haven't even really thought of it, frankly, because we've been so head down creating our own world of sorts with our own website. So
Yeah, it's nice to have sort of your own website. You can control, all the fees attached to it. You don't have to necessarily take off and give 2% to OpenSea or whatever like that. And I think it's a lot easier when companies do set up their own marketplace because you can have just everything in your one site, everything you need, like the updates, the roadmap, the about the team, and you don't have to go to all these different places. It's just all in one place where you can just connect your wallet and see your own stuff.
Well, and it makes the gaming experience really nice as well, right? Like look at something like Avagachi, the whole way to pet your Avagachi and play with it, everything like that. Excuse me, everything like that. It happens within the website. So it keeps everything in one space. And I think that that's really nice because you look at something, I mean, even though we were just speaking so highly of it, look at something like crypto voxels. Each wearable is its own separate NFT that then you have to like port into their website and like add it. And you can buy some wearables on OpenSea, but you can also make some through their own website. There's a lot of steps, right? So I think if we can control the aspect of it with the DeFi platform and do all these ideas that we're dreaming of when it comes to this game we're building, I think it'll be really nice because we have the control, and that just means we can have a little bit more creative freedom, like you're saying, and build it up to what we want it to look like, right?
Yeah, and it's sort of the beauty of doing this stuff in the metaverse is you can also, as you mentioned earlier, you have this brand, and there's real world events that you can also go to and run these parties at, and pretty seamlessly go from one to the other. So, do you guys have plans on doing some IRL experiences as well? TBD.
Yeah, for sure. So like we just did our first IRL event. Well, we just did our first IRL event at NFT LA. So it was like a pizza party. It was pretty casual. It was packed, which was really nice. But with the pizza party, it was kind of just our first dip. We had the idea to do a big activation down at NFT Land in Las Vegas during March, but when that conference fell through, we were like, let's just stand something up pretty quickly for NFT LA. But there is for sure in the future going to be more experiences, more music centric experiences, IRL, and a way that we were talking about as well to have that portal so we can kind of dip in if you're in the metaverse and can't attend in real life, and a way that you can attend if you're in person. But we think the pizza party was a success as well. For as simple and silly as what a pizza party is, I feel like I was in an elementary school again, getting hot lunch or something like
Yeah.
that. But it was amazing. We had like a line around the block, people hanging out in the back. I was doing magic. There was ping pong. There was foosball. And I think it was just a nice chill event, which is kind of the vibe we were wanting to portray. So
Yeah, so you do magic at these events too? I mean, that's a little alpha that I think people would want to know before
yeah,
going. What type of magic were you doing?
yeah,
Like card tricks or?
I'll do a little something even, right? So like
Oh,
even like with my
okay.
ring, we'll do a little. I mean, why not, Lou? Through the camera,
Sure.
unannounced, right? A little impromptu. We'll try
Yeah.
like a little ring. So if I place it on my finger like this, if I take off the ring, I can put the ring back on my finger like that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
You act like you see that every day. It's not bad though, right? So we'll take it like this. If I take the ring, if I take it off the finger like this, if I squeeze it, you can actually see it go back on. A small smile from Lou. That's all we'll get, but I'll take what I can get. You know what I mean? He's good. He's laughing
Yeah,
at it. He's being
it's
good.
like so quick. I could do that with the hand. It's just like gone, it's back.
Well, and that's the thing. So when it comes to, and what's funny is because with Web3 people, everyone is so deep into learning things, right? Everyone's so
Mhm.
creative. Everyone's got so many different things like that because everyone's a tastemaker. So when we were in LA, the amount of people I was doing magic for, and that's like my professional job, right? Is I was doing magic, you know, through and through, touring full time basically until COVID happened. With that, when we were in LA doing the show, people were coming up to me afterwards being like, "Hey, I was practicing magic back 5 years ago. Can I show you something?" And I think that that is pretty cool too. So there's a lot of hobbyist magicians around Web3, and that conversation was pretty fun.
Yeah. Cool. And so is there anything else that you wanted to plug while we were on? Maybe just Twitters themselves or anything like that?
I mean, just come hang out, right? I think that's the best thing I can say. I don't want to be too shilly or anything like that, but come join the Discord. If you don't have a Dreamer, maybe go look at picking up a Dreamer if you want to be a part of Dreamer VX, which opens up tomorrow. And if you want to come see what we're like in the metaverse and what we're like during the event, come join us in 3 hours basically at 4 o'clock
Yeah.
Pacific in our Crypto Voxels party. And that to join, if you want to join, is bitlectro.party into your browser. It'll drop you right into the space, and you can basically roam around, head up to the third floor, and come boogie with us for 4 hours. So
Cool. Yeah, so if you guys are watching and not doing anything else tonight and wanted to hop over, bitlectro.party. That's a cool website name too, as well, just like the party website. But yeah, go. I know that pretty much everyone on our team is a fun time, and Maybe you'll be doing some more magic for them over there. Who knows?
Who knows?
That's the part
Yeah.
of going to the party. So cool. Well, yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a pleasure having you on. I know that some people have been looking forward to this Dreamers VX drop. I know when did the Dreamers one drop? Was that last year or was that still
Yeah,
in
so
this year?
Dreamers, yeah, it was last year. It's been a
End of
while. So
last year.
Dreamers was like mid-October. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
mid-October last year. So it's been a minute, and then just taking our time. Not take it, it's the balance of like rushing to make sure everyone's pleased and happy, but also
Yeah.
taking our time to making sure everything looks perfect. So with that, we kind of hit we told people April. We made it in April, which is really cool. And I think they look better than we all were originally thinking they were going to look like. So,
Yeah.
it's been a minute, but we're stoked to get these out the door.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we look forward to seeing that tomorrow, and good luck on the launch and the
Thank you.
parties. Assuming that there'll be more, especially
Yep.
after the launch. I'm sure there'll be another secondary party. So yeah, it was great having you on, and I'll put in the notes below how to follow and be a part with Dreamers, and I could find and put the Discord in there as well into the show notes. So thanks
Sweet.
for hopping on, and we'll be back on Monday to go over the week in NFTs. So
I love it.
we'll catch you guys next week.